I can hear my kids coming. They're coming. What you doing? No, we're about to start school. You can have an ice block after school. You can have an ice block after school. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine here. If you're new, I am a homeschooling mama of 3 and I love to share homeschool content. So if that's something you're interested in, then please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see when I post new videos. Please make sure that you leave me a comment down below, even if it's just saying hi or responding to some questions. If you're a homeschool mom, then leave me a comment about why you have chosen to homeschool. That is the topic of today's video. I want to share about why we've chosen to homeschool our children. And I have done a video about the reasons to homeschool before, but it wasn't as candid as I wanted it to be. It was more about like the pros of homeschooling, and I want to just share my heart with you and why we've chosen to homeschool. And I've been nervous about doing this video because I think sometimes when you take a very strong stance on something, people take that as like a personal attack on them. Like, because you're standing for something, they can't have different opinions, or that you're judging them for the choices that they are making. And it's just not true. Like, at least it's not my case. I have very, very strong opinions and strong stances that I've taken in regards to my children and how I choose to raise them, but I don't expect other people to live up to my standards that I've set for myself, you know? It's just, every family's different, every child is different, and yes, I might think that a certain way to do things is the right way to do things, but I don't expect anyone else to live by that. So when it comes to our reasons for homeschooling, I'm always kind of struck dumb when people ask me, because I don't have a single reason for homeschooling. I have many reasons for homeschooling, like lots of reasons. And it's really, really hard to put it into words because I feel like I could talk about it all day long, and I'm not going to make this video all day long, but I want to share with you just some of the most important reasons that we feel it is the right decision to homeschool our children. So the first reason I would say to me is on spiritual grounds. I just feel firmly that parents are called to raise their children to point them towards the Lord. And the best way for me to do that is to be the number one influence in my children's lives. And while you can be that, and this is where it gets tricky because it feels like I'm offending mothers who have their children enrolled in school and like calling them less than, but I'm not. This is just my personal feeling and my personal take on it. So, I mean, if you're going to get offended, you're going to get offended, but I can't help that. But this is how I feel about the situation. I feel as though I have far greater chance and an easier opportunity to do that with my children, to point them to the Lord, when they're not in somebody else's care the vast majority of the day, or at least a large chunk of the day. And it's just something I feel strongly about. I feel called to do that. It is my number one priority. Yes, you know, we have to go out and sometimes make money. Like, sometimes moms don't have a choice in those situations. But for me personally, I have the choice, and I choose to have my children at home so that I can do that. I can point them towards that. So no, it's not educationally based. No, it's got no like founding and like how great an education I can give them, that first point. It's just all about pointing their hearts in the right direction. And I can't force them to serve the Lord. I can't force them to follow Jesus, but it gives me a greater opportunity to be a testimony to them and to guide their hearts in that direction as much as I can. So I would say that is my first and most important reason. The second reason would be relationship. And I just believe that Satan has like the biggest goal of destroying the family unit. We see it everywhere. And the country in which I live in has like terrible rates of divorce, of child abuse, of abandonment, and just horrible, horrible, horrible things. And I'm not saying that homeschooling is the fix-all. Clearly, there's far more to it. But in a time where the family is being torn apart, even just by simple distractions, by like a million activities where everyone's off doing their own thing, homeschooling helps us to be together and to draw us together and to build those relationships. And so that's something that's really important to me. And I can say this because I know some people are like, oh no, homeschooling would ruin my relationship with my kids because we can't be together all the time. I'm not with my kids all the time, okay? I make sure that we have breaks from each other because I can't do that either. I'm an introvert. I cannot deal with people all the time. But in my experience, the opposite is true. It has built and strengthened relationships. I am one of four. I'm the eldest of four, and we are all such fast friends, all of us siblings. We all have a wonderful relationship with my parents. And of course, it's not all sunshine and roses all the time. Of course, we yelled at each other and fought. And I remember yelling at my mother over algebra equations, like that happened. But here we are now, all as adults. All but one of us is married, one's engaged to get married, and having kids, and we are a strong family unit. Like, we love each other fiercely, and I know that my parents could still have done that with us being enrolled in conventional school, whatever that may be, but I think it was made easier by having us together so much, and my mother cultivating a home of love and a place that we wanted to be. And yes, sometimes we were forced to be together. We didn't always love it, but we learned to compromise, and we learned to love, and we learned, the pastor of my church always says that love is action, because that is a biblical principle. Love is not a feeling, it is an action. And sometimes you just have to learn to love someone, even if you don't feel like it, you choose to do the right thing. So that is my second reason, is the relationships. I want the kind of relationship I have with my parents to be the same with me and my kids one day when they're grown adults. And it might be hard in the meantime. I might have to sacrifice things in the meantime, but I know it will be worth it. So that's my second reason. The third reason I would say is to guard my children's hearts. And I don't mean bubble wrap them, although in all fairness, I don't think there's anything wrong with bubble wrapping your 5-year-old against the adult influences in the world, I guess, as far as inappropriateness. I don't have any qualms when someone's like, you're bubble wrapping your 5-year-old. I'm like, I don't care. My 5-year-old doesn't need to hear swear words. He doesn't need to know about all sorts of just things that are not age appropriate. But I would say that is one of our most important reasons too, is just protecting their hearts until they're of an age and a mental maturity and emotional maturity that they can deal with these things. So my intention is not to completely wrap my kids in bubble wrap and never let them experience real life, but it is to do it at an appropriate age and an appropriate time, and just give them a firm foundation to stand on before they go out and face those things. And I've seen that myself. I attended public school up until age 10, and my sisters did not. They never went to public school. They were homeschooled from the get-go and right through. And I just know that their innocence lasted a lot longer than mine did, as far as just knowing things. And I want that for my kids. I want their innocence to be prolonged. I want their childhood to last as long as possible, because you can't get that back again. And I just do not buy into the whole thing of, well, they're going to learn it eventually, so you might as well tell them now. No, that's dumb. I'm sorry. That's a really, really dumb way of thinking. I want to preserve the innocence of their childhood. I want them to enjoy that, and I want them to go through life without the worries that they're going to have as adults and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I want to guard the hearts of my children, and that's just easier to do when they're in my home instead of being away from me for 6 hours a day and having all sorts of influences in their lives that I just can't control. I can't. They're there at school. They're going to be, and I'm not labeling kids as being bad kids or whatever, but kids all have different homes and family life, and they're going to bring that with them. And no matter how much I try, my child will be influenced by that in one way or another, and I will have to work against that every single day if they are attending school. And sure, they're still going to meet kids that maybe I don't agree with what they say, I don't agree with their behavior, but it's not going to be on such a huge scale as it would if they were in school, and I have just a bit more control over that. And maybe people think I'm a controlling parent. I don't care. That's what I want for my kids. I want them to be safe and for their hearts to be guarded, especially at this young age. And then the last reason I'm going to talk about, I have way more reasons, if I'm being completely honest, there's far more, but I would just say that it's that I get to tailor their education to suit them. I am not pro I'm not anti-university. I'm not a big advocate of pushing kids to go to university because I just don't think it's the be-all and end-all. I went to a polytech myself and I qualified as a registered nurse and would have had a perfectly great career as a registered nurse if I had continued down that road. I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. I do think it's important to get qualified in something, and we will definitely be encouraging our children towards like a trade of some kind because I think it's just something helpful to fall back on. But I love homeschooling because I can tailor their education to suit that. Like if my daughter knows that she wants to go, say, just for instance, she wants to go into nursing one day, then I can focus her education around that when she's in high school. If my son wants to go into mechanics, then we can work on that. I love that part of homeschooling, that I just get to do that. It's great. It's just so freeing and wonderful, and I feel very, very privileged to have the choice to do that. And then I know I said that was my last reason, but I would say one more reason is just that I get to spend time with my kids. And I am deeply saddened by the amount of comments and just things I see around me and hear from other moms about resenting having to be with their kids. And please, please know this. There are many times where I'm like, I do not want my kids around me right now. Like, they need to go away and I need space, okay? That happens daily. I'm not even joking. I have 3 little ones. It's intense and it's a lot. But as a whole, I want my children with me. I want to spend time with them. And I think it's really sad that society is making it like children are a burden, children are a hindrance, children are just like a necessary evil almost. And that's just so sad to me. It's just awful. That is not how it was intended. Children are a gift. They are a privilege. Yes, they're hard. Oh my gosh, it's so hard some days. It's just really hard sometimes, but it doesn't mean that they're not special and wonderful. And I'm so grateful that homeschooling gives me the privilege of spending time with my children, of getting to know them individually and deeply, and to know their hearts and to learn who they are as people and what their fears are. And I don't have to go to a teacher to find out what my child is struggling with, because I know, because I'm there and I'm the one who can find that out. And that is a privilege to me. It's something wonderful. And please, please, please don't think I'm judging you or think less of you because your child is in school and they're struggling and you have to go to the teacher to find out what's wrong. That's just life, like we're all in different places. It's just that I personally love that I don't have to do that. So please don't take that as like a personal attack on yourself. Anyway, lucky I'm about to wrap up this video because my kids are out in the hallway and they're going to make a noise now. So I don't know if any of this resonated with you, if you're a homeschooling mom or you're considering being a homeschool mom. Let me know in the comments below. I hope I haven't deeply offended anybody. If I have, please know that was not my intention at all. But this is just deep-seated in my heart, and it's something I'm very passionate about. It's something my own mother was very passionate about, and I've seen the fruits of her labor, and so it makes it that much easier for me to just stand firm on it, because I know what the benefits are, and they're worth fighting for, in my opinion. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,